Okay, well, a lot of these things have backend databases and all kinds of data structures. So those need to be actually pushed up into the browser, and most of them are structured data. It could be an object which has three arrays. It could have a couple of associative arrays. Could be just another object in it, or maybe an array of objects. So if the whole structure can be pushed up to JavaScript, that's nothing like it from PHP. You can just tend to it just like the way you were in, you don't really have to do any text parsing or anything. JSON takes care of that for you. Again, like I said, JSON does it, and JSON's really small and tight, so it's nice. Sorry, I'm just rushing through a lot of this. I'm going really fast because, I have a limited amount of time and there's a lot here. So.
No worries, Vikram. Just take it easy. It's okay. It's okay. We got plenty of time.
Well, it's seriously a lot. So PHP as middleware. Okay, well here I've again talked about PHP. When I say PHP as middleware, what do I mean? I mean traditionally most of you guys are accustomed to PHP data being posted to a PHP script, and then the PHP script sending back some HTML and some stuff. Even if you use a framework that PHP allows, a lot of the PHP, there are some frameworks in PHP that are trying to replicate Ruby on Rails and all that. So even if you use that, it's kind of traditionally that. But here, PHP is not really sending any HTML, not really sending any JavaScript, any of that stuff. It's just sending you data structures, serialized data structures. So it's like this engine that you just ask for things, say, give me the names of the people in class. So you don't get this huge web page with the names on it, but you get this data structure right out. So that's kind of how we're going about developing our thing. Then there's, again, how we call those methods. How do we ask, PHP, give me this data structure? What we do is we basically use either JSON RPC, or we have our own custom post mechanism that kind of sends a certain, it serializes the request and sends it down to PHP. Then there is, again, this is talking about JSON serializing it. So this is actually an example of JSON. That's how it looks. That basically says that this is an associative array or an object, either way you want to put it. There's a variable named result, and that this is an array. The first element in the array is the word hello, second element is world. Or for example, you have something like sorry, so you can actually, so we send JSON data structures of that type back to JavaScript to signal errors or to deliver the result of whatever we ask for. So if you send a message saying, calculate a pi to the 100th value and give that to me. So PHP will do that and send back a result of that type. Or say if PHP decides, I can't really calculate this till the 100th value is too complex. So just send me back an error saying, sorry, find someone else to do that. So. And pass function arguments instead of post. Well, most people are familiar with post. Somehow, I guess we had some prejudice against it. It was just irritating to have to is set and check if the variable has been set, and so you could always use it. There's nothing against it, but we actually made our own serializing way that we can just call functions directly from PHP. We don't really have to post data or anything. I'll come to that again. This is our philosophy. This is just our personal opinion. It's not necessary everyone wants to do this. So I've seen some horror stories in this front, and actually a lot of PHP has got a bad reputation. People say, that most of the PHP stuff is buggy. You can't really use it for enterprise, or it's hard to maintain, and a whole bunch of stuff. That's because of this mixing this. I know there's templating engines, but I don't really like that. It just makes you type in more. It's really bad. So what we did was we did it our way. And you can judge for yourself. That is real code from an open source project. I'll give you the thing. It's Sugar CRM. So I don't know how many of you know. So if some of you have used it, you probably know how buggy it is. So okay, debug that. I don't want to be there. Someone else can do that. So this is how we did it. So this is actually PHP trying to render stuff. Render HTML. Bad idea. Horrible. This is how we did it. This is actually a function in our framework. So what happens here is that this is where it all starts. This is Dojo. We use something called the Dojo toolkit. It's a JavaScript UI framework. So this is Dojo, and this is basically HTML. This is what you type into HTML, and this is rendered by the JavaScript UI framework, Dojo. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically creating a data store, and I'm saying the data store access this Druid module, music on hold. In other words, just access this PHP class, PHP script called music on hold, and get this method, get MOH context. So it's basically causing the PHP to call that function, and it's basically using some of our internal API and sending back the JSON data. If you look at that, that's sending back the data, which is then being rendered automatically by this filtering select. I'll show you the result of that. So this is basically the select, and that data is being rendered. And oh, by the way, this is also they're trying to render a select box. So I mean, they're doing all that, and I don't know where they're getting with it. If you look at what we've done, that is basically the Dojo HTML. I just neatly put it out, and this is again the JSON that's passed when you actually call that. So this is the JSON that's sent back from the PHP, and finally this is what you get: nice rendered box. So it's pretty easy, and that's all it takes. Those 2 lines up there, and just that much data sent over the connection. So this is great. It's like each widget is actually connected to something in the backend, some PHP script, and we like to call it SOA. IBM has this big definition for it, but we kind of call it our own service-oriented architecture because each PHP script is a service, and ask it for whatever you want. So I just want to go a little bit into into our code really, and show how we do some of this. And this is actually an example of it, but I want to get into like more complex module because I guess most of you here are developers and stuff. So instead of seeing boring slides, maybe get into some code. So anyway, this is the internals of what we do. Is we'll go into the auto attendant. That is when you call companies. Normally you get welcome to Microsoft. Please press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 if you have. So that we have that thing in here too, the kind of feature. So how do we actually implement the UI for that? We'll go into that. Then the unified mailbox is also pretty cool because we actually access IMAP and stuff. And we kind of do it similarly to what Gmail, Yahoo. So if you look at Gmail and stuff, it's not really doing page refreshes. I guess everyone knows Gmail uses Ajax. It uses JSON a lot. So, we do kind of something similar. Obviously, we're not as good as Gmail, but we're pretty good. So, okay, sorry. Let me just get into that. What is the ICU of this thing? 85. 85, right? Yeah, just because we don't have DNS right now, the SSH, tries to resolve DNS and some weird things.
You logged into the phone?
Sorry?
You logged into the phone?
No, we actually logged into this box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the phone doesn't run Linux. Well, that's up to you, right? The box is right now not connected to anything, but you can connect it to a Singtel phone line, you can connect it to a Singtel E1 line. In the US, you can connect it to a T1 line, or you can just, over the Ethernet or internet, you can get a SIP account from an account provider and configure it. So we don't. One of our partners, Zorcom, Israeli-based company, they do it. We develop all the software inside the box. So the unified communications.
You also mentioned Digium.
I'm sorry?
You mentioned Digium a little while ago. You partner with them, or
Digium? Yeah, well, we haven't partnered with Digium, but we're pretty close to them because we develop. They're open source too. They're basing Asterisk, and our system is based on Asterisk. All our call control, everything. We just added a lot of value on top, and we are talking to Digium pretty actively.